Jordan Edmond wanted to know, Joe, how did the tower become so covered with mountains and buried? Was it just there over time, or was there something else going on, you think?
No,
in
the
terms of
idea,
the setup for that episode?
Yeah, no, the idea was that it had been there a good long time. Okay. And you're right. I mean, in terms of a premise, I look back and on the various stories we did, and that was one that I think we could have exploited more and really, I think, kind of delved into beyond the episode we did.
I honestly think that it sets up a larger question that really should have been answered before the end of the series and wasn't, because if Atlantis is considered to be the crown jewel of the ancient domain, what was this place? And if it was, at least the command tower is certainly the case, was it identical to Atlantis, or was it like I can't remember if it was, I guess it was an exact duplicate of the city. I always imagined that there was like some kind of sci-fi explanation where the city had been twinned somehow, and that was just, it was a fluke, that it was perhaps actually an Atlantis from an alternate reality. So Atlantis really was the crown jewel of the ancient domain.
Yeah.
But something funky had happened and we got more drones.
Yeah.
Jet Ison, I know you did a few guest spots, but could you see yourself taking on a recurring role in a future series?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, I could do something like, like a Boba Fett where I'm pretty much covered all the time.
And you're taking part in it.
Yeah. You can treat my voice and I wouldn't have to convey a wide range of emotions. So in that respect, I think that would be pretty cool. But outside of that, unlikely. But thank you for asking.
You excited about the Book of Boba Fett?
I believe we discussed this. I got off the Star Wars bandwagon with Return of the Jedi.
My apologies. My apologies.
Yeah. So I don't even know what that is.
Okay.
I don't even know what that is.
Understood. That's all good. Gate Gab. Does Suji have cosplay outfits from any of your shows?
Sadly, she does not have any cosplay outfits. My wife ended up making her a Nibbler outfit.
You dress her, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So that's about the extent of her cosplay.
Oh, gosh, that's funny. Aurora, Goran Ananowski. Aurora was an excellent episode. Did you consider introducing more ancient warships to be found by the Atlantis team?
Beyond that episode, we did not.
Okay.
I mean, what often happens is, to be honest, if you pitch an idea for an episode, because you wrote it, more often than not, if it turns out well, it's an idea you want to go back to. So for instance, I wrote Reunion for Jason, and Mark Dacascos was amazing guest star. And I just kind of loved that setup. So when Jason came in and kind of pitched Ronan going dark side, I came up with essentially the sequel to that episode and was able to revisit the episode. And the reason we were able to do it was because I'd done the episode and I loved the first episode and I wanted to do the second episode. So I don't recall who wrote Aurora. So if that would have been really more a question for them if they really wanted to push it.
Let's have a look here.
Yeah.
That was, I know Martin Wood directed it.
Oh, Carl Binder.
Carl Binder wrote the teleplay, story by Brad and Carl. Absolutely. Yeah. And I've got, where is it?
Where is it?
One of the ancient stunners from Aurora.
I was going to say, hey, you're holding it upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ancient ice cream cones. Awesome. As soon as, okay, so here's my beef with your continuity. Mm-hmm. As soon as you guys introduce
these things, my continuity or just
general? All the Stargate production.
Yeah.
As soon as these things were introduced, you should have found a cache of them in Atlantis, because it's Lantean technology from that era. And look at this, still lights.
Amazing.
Original battery.
Amazing.
Oh, and it says made in China in ancient. So
amazing. But
the font substitution.
Also, a lot of it had to do with the cast members and what they felt comfortable wielding. So, for instance, we talk about the P90s and the fact that we use the P90s, whereas I think the military had moved past the P90s at that point. But we used them because the cast found them very comfortable because the way they rested, they were always able to kind of rest their arms on the P90. So they liked the P90, so we kept the P90. So given a choice between a sidearm or one of those things, I think the cast would have much preferred the sidearms.
Okay, that's fair. Okay. Absolutely. And it may have just been standard issue on board the spaceships.
Right.
So that's completely fair as well. Yeah, I guess, when you think about it that way, creature comforts for the actors, they would have a lot of the last say on a number of different things, I would think, if given
their input, obviously. Can you
not necessarily the last say.
Prop up again?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, upside down. Yeah, it kind of looks like one of those K-pop fan sticks,
K-pop.
Light up. Yeah. Are you a fan of Dreamcatcher? No?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, never mind. Let's
It looks like it's from Dairy Queen. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one to answer. Keith wanted to know, why did they never ask in the few times that they met the ancients how to charge the ZPMs? Never came up in conversation.
That's a very good question. I would imagine, how often did we end up meeting the ancients? I mean, there was Aurora.
Yep, there was Before I Sleep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there weren't a lot, but it's I would think
in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, that's true.
And we should have totally done a scene where and it's like,
absolutely.
You know what we should have done? We should have asked them how to recharge the ZPMs, and they're like, next, and then basically we do Aurora, and we do another, and it's like, oh shit. You know what we should have done? And he's like, yeah, you should have asked. I'm like, okay, next time for sure.
That's hanging a lantern on it, right?
Yeah.
Well, the obvious answer is you don't want to blow that handicap because then you're too powerful.
Well, that's an obvious.
That's the real reason.
Yes, that's the creative production reason.
Right, but in universe,
the in story, in universe reason, has to be a little more believable.
Kappa, absolutely. Kappa, yeah, and there's. At a certain point, and I had this conversation with Rob Cooper this past week for a pre-recorded show. He said, at a certain point, you have to buy it. At a certain point, you have to accept the fact that there are only so many actors in Vancouver and they can't change their face every time they come on as a new role.
Yeah, who knew we would be doing 300 episodes?
Thanks for watching this clip from Dial the Gate. You can find the full live stream shows on our YouTube channel or visit dialthegate.com for the complete schedule. See you on the other side.